Hey, it's Samantha with the Rediscover Real podcast. I am so thrilled to be here with you. Are you feeling overwhelmed, confused, or stuck on a hamster wheel from constantly seeking external tools, validation, and buffering in a search for more joy and fulfillment? Rediscover Real means to pull back the curtain and return to the foundation, peeling away the layers of mindsets, identities, and beliefs that no longer serve us. As we choose to grow, move forward, and show up fully as God intended, because at our very core, inside of you, lies everything already, as God created you absolutely perfect. We get to uncover and rediscover what's inside of us, and then to expand into what we're capable of. In this space, we'll dive into topics on personal finance and budgeting, mindset and growth, relationships, network marketing, and entrepreneurship. I'm sure there'll be some laughter and possibly a few tears along the way. I'm on this journey and you're invited. I'm holding out my hand for you. Will you join me? Let's rediscover real together. We've all heard the term work hard, play hard. And maybe this is something that you live by too. But I want to ask you about rest. When was the last time you actually took time to rest? So, learning how to actually turn off with no buffering, with no distractions, with no this is like a fun thing to do, but actually give yourself permission to turn off and to rest. So often we get caught up in the work hard, play hard mentality of we're always on the go. Even when you're not working and you're playing hard. You're going all out, whether it be sports or kids activities or recreation stuff. You're having fun. You're going out with friends. You're doing things for quote unquote fun. And that's really important. I'm not saying that isn't important, but as a society, I truly believe we have forgotten the importance of rest and what rest is. Now, obviously from a Christian lens, we talk about the Sabbath and, how, even God took the seventh day to rest, right? And that it was good. And in Genesis, when in the creation and all of that. But out even with and that might, if that's something that you believe in, like I do, then it might be something that you have considered in your life, or it might be something you're aware of, but you're like, I have so much to do in my life. There's so many things going on. I take care of people. I take care of small humans. I have, there's always food that needs made and always laundry and always a house that needs cleaned. And, there's, always that list. There's always stuff, right? And if there's not stuff, if you intentionally take time to, read books or to be in the Word and to read the Bible and to pray, then you're doing those things. I mean by rest. Now and I'm not saying that those things aren't important. When was the last time you actually turned everything off? No background music, no buffering with TV, no playing a fun game on your phone, no, well, I'm going to I'm going to take it easy today. It's Sunday. I'm going to relax and rest. I need to, catch up on rest. And I don't mean sleeping. That's important. Naps are great. But when was the last time you were awake and conscious and doing nothing? Not driving, not sitting in front of the TV, not sitting in front of the TV cleaning out pictures on your phone. When was the last time you actually turned off? Now, my coach challenged me to sit in a room with no music, no phone, no buffering, none of that. And at first to set a timer for 5 minutes. And it was wildly uncomfortable. And then at some point she challenged me to do it for 30 minutes. And it's something that the more I've stepped into, the better I feel and the better I function the rest of the time. Actually, and as somebody, if you're like me who's, well, a type A personality, a proud perfectionist, which has been a shift because for a long time I didn't see that as necessarily a good thing. And as someone who would definitely be classified as an overthinker, clearing all of that and giving myself blank space, whew, was not easy at all. It felt so uncomfortable. It's like, oh, but I just need to do this on my phone. And like every single, like, and you, but as you start to like clear those things out of your brain and like, oh, but this, and oh, but that, and oh, I need to do this, and oh, there's this, and oh, I need to message this person, and oh, that, and all the things. Oh, I need to do that, and oh, I need to find a gift for that, and oh, whatever. Oh, that's coming up. Oh, I need to do that, whatever, all those things. Turning that, learning to give yourself space, just even to like clear all of that. And then after you're done that time, to go like make a list with all those things that like popped up in your brain so they're out of your head. Learning how to clear all that out has been so life-giving. And then when I find that when I do that and give myself space for that, I'm so much more effective in my work, in how I show up. I show up as a nicer, happier, healthier human being. And then the other piece to this is, if you're like me, and whether you start or end your day or somewhere in the middle with, a devotion and, intentional prayer time. I mean, if you're like me, you probably pray without ceasing. And that's a part of your life. But actually taking intentional time to like sit down and like finish a prayer, and to sit in the word and that. So often in the past, it would always be like, well, I'll pray, and then you go do something, whether it's on your phone or you move on with your day and all of that. And you don't give blank space. And that space, actually giving blank space, if you, again, are maybe like me, or you've walked through this where you're like, I don't know if I hear God's voice. I don't know if I, you're not sure if you actually hear him talking. Do you actually give space to hear him without buffering? Now, he can talk to us at any point in time and we can hear his voice. But if you're working on actually learning to listen, giving yourself that blank space and that kind of that space to actually hear him and to hear him respond. We pray the prayers, but if we don't give space to actually hear him, it's not that he's not answering our prayers. It's not that he's not speaking to us. Maybe we're just not listening, right? And I heard this incredible lady was talking about it the other day on her Instagram and stuff, actually. And just like sitting, just like you would sit with a friend and giving them the space to speak. That has been so good for me. It's again so life-giving. So if that's something, if you believe in God and that's something that you do, and that's something you maybe struggle with, or you definitely find yourself buffering and not giving space for that, I'd encourage you to sit in that. Just see how it feels. And actually like allow for that space for that. So that's the one piece of it. Now to come back to just like turning off. So I think it's really good. Like I said, go stare at a blank wall, set a timer. It's okay. The timer will go off. Oh, Violet's done here. She started her blank wall. No, she does enough of that. But outside of doing that, actually taking, I'd shared this on my stories. I took a day. I took a Sunday, to just turn off, to not answer messages, to not be thinking about all the to-do list, to not be thinking about the podcast, or anything else. And it was so good. Now, that doesn't mean I like stared at a blank wall all day, but I actually read a book for most of the day. And then I sat down in front of the TV to watch a show, but I wasn't also on my phone. And that's something that I found myself, we have so many things being thrown at us. And while we're wildly capable of doing it all, actually like putting down your phone and just being present to watch the show and like let other thoughts, depending on what kind of show you're watching, it probably doesn't take a whole lot of brain space. And so again, just like giving that space, like to turn off. I don't need to be sorting pictures through my phone on my phone at the same time. I don't need to be scheduling out my week at the same time. Being intentional with your time. And this comes back to that work hard, play hard, and rest hard. And so maybe it's one day a month for you that you actually turn off, and if you have small humans or other humans that depend on you for meals, we'll all survive on leftovers for a day, I promise. Or on some pancakes or some scrambled eggs. I promise it will be okay. They do not need fancy new meals every single day. But outside of that, cook extra, plan for it, put it on your calendar. Don't just like wait for it to happen. And that's the thing. So many people, we're so caught up in busy and life that we forget to rest. But we've all heard the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. And whether that be like you need to take time to do something fun. And I highly encourage you to carve that out on your calendar too, not just be running to everyone else's fun things, but also to take time to rest. And I think, if you have a family, taking intentional time to even rest as a family, this is, it's our quiet afternoon. Maybe it's not a whole day for you. Maybe it's an afternoon, an evening. But really taking the time, because we always hear about people, us needing to escape life, to go on a vacation, right? But oftentimes we fill those vacations so full of stuff too, that then we feel like we need a vacation when we, just got back from the vacation, because we aren't actually turning off. We're playing hard, and that's good and important. And y'all know I love to travel, but turning off is so key. Just like dating your spouse intentionally is so key. Just because you coexist in the same house doesn't mean that you're spending intentional time together and going on dates and actually getting to know the other person's heart and soul and all of those pieces and create a deeper connection, right? So I'd highly encourage you today, open your calendar, especially going into the holiday season and all the things. When are you going to carve out? Maybe it's a couple of hours to start. Maybe it's half a day. Maybe it's a full day. I'd highly encourage you to like a full day, 24 hours. It's okay. Everything will be fine. Everyone will survive. The laundry will survive. House cleaning will still be there. I'm sure you have enough food to feed everyone. They will be fine. You will be just fine. But carve that time out. Leave that space and stop buffering, because we buffer so much instead of being alone with our thoughts. And this is something, and if this feels wildly uncomfortable to you, just even taking a day off, let alone staring at a blank wall for 5 minutes, and that's my next challenge to you, is to try that. It's just 5 minutes. I promise you, 5 minutes staring at a wall is not going to kill you. Like, we all know that. Like, I'm not telling you to do anything unsafe. And I'm not telling you that you have to like go deeply introspective and like, to question the meaning of life. Just sit down, stare at a blank wall with no distractions. Maybe that's your closet, because that's like the only place for the kids. You can shut your bedroom door and your closet door, and that's where you're gonna sit. And don't start rearranging your clothes or folding clothes. Just sit. This isn't like filing your nails. This isn't giving yourself a back rub at the same time, or, whatever those things are, or braiding your hair, whatever. No, this is actually nothing. So in our hurry to do more and play more and show up for our friends more and all of those things. Show up for yourself. Deepen the relationship between you and God. Be present. Fill your cup so that then you can show up holy, the way that God created you to be. You just finished another episode of the Rediscover Real podcast. My hope is always that you come away encouraged. And if you found this valuable, would you share it with a friend? And be sure to tag me on social media. I love seeing your takeaways. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And I would so appreciate it if you took a second to rate and review this podcast so that more people can find it. Also, take a peek in the show notes for a link to my website that has a special gift just for you for listening today. As always, I'm on the journey and you're invited. Let's rediscover real together.